And so he remained silent, where anybody else, people that say, oh, Jesus is just a good teacher and blah, 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 he was just a prophet, or they dismiss him as something less than God. If that were the case, that man would have 100% argued for his life there. Just one little powerful, positive reminder and another pointer to our faith, to the power of our faith. The governor's amazed because he doesn't say anything. All right, we'll read through the rest of this quickly. Verse 15. Now it was the governor's custom at the feast to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time, they had a notorious prisoner called Barabbas, and he was notorious. Not a good dude at all. So when the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, which do you want me to release to you? So immediately, he's thinking, this same crowd that was welcoming this guy, Jesus, this itinerant rabbi, who seems to be and supposedly is doing miracles, and they're waving palm branches just a few days ago, surely they're going to get me out of the responsibility of this, because this is what Pilate feels right now. They're going to get me out of the responsibility of wanting this dude dead. They want me to sentence him to death. I don't want to do that. They'll get me out of this now, because surely they'll pick Barabbas over him. Well, you know he doesn't. Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called Christ? For he knew it was out of envy that they had handed Jesus over to him. Out of whose envy? The religious leaders' envy, because they wanted power and influence. Jesus had too much of it, and they didn't like it. Y'all, it's just as simple as that. Verse 19. While Pilate was sitting on the judge's seat, so he's there in a position of leadership where he's making these kinds of decisions, his wife sent him the message, so probably sends a messenger to him. Don't have anything to do with that innocent man, for I have suffered a great deal today in a dream because of him. Y'all, this is just another reminder. Listen to your wife. But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas to have Jesus executed. So they don't want to hear it. They don't want to give up this power. Which of the two do you want me to release to you? Asked the governor. Barabbas, they answered. You know, he must have been so surprised. Well, what should I do then with this Jesus who is called Christ? Pilate asked. And they all answered, they yelled, crucify him. And here's what Pilate, this Roman authority, says. Why? What crime has he committed? But all they did was shout the louder, crucify him. So this crowd, this same crowd that was meeting Jesus with palm branches, is now yelling, crucify him. And here's what's at the heart of where Pilate finds himself stuck. There are very few things that Roman authorities feared because they had the might and the power of the military. But maybe the biggest thing that they feared was lack of control of the rabble, if you will, the common people. And it wasn't because they couldn't have called up the military to squash any kind of uprising, because they could have. It's that for a leader like Pilate, to have the people that were above him in the chain of command see that he was not able to handle with authority the people that he had been given responsibility over would have been a poor reflection on him. And so he is moved and motivated by these movements of man, if you will, right? These desires of the people over what he knows is right. And you can see where we'll find some application for that in just a few minutes. Verse 24, when Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, remember, just explain that to you, he took water and he washed his hands in front of the crowd. He had a bowl there probably brought to him and a towel, washed his hands. I am innocent of this man's blood, he said. It is your responsibility. So, not my problem. All the people answered, let this blood be on us and on our children. Dangerous language. Then he released Barabbas to them. But he had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. I want to explain to you, I believe Pilate tried everything he could to get out from under this. to honestly cast off the responsibility of it. I believe he was even doing that till the very end by having Jesus flogged. Why do I think that? Well, because I think the flogging, the beating, was his effort at them seeing our Lord be beaten to within an inch of his life, that then the people would see, okay, enough has been done because this is terrible, terrible punishment. It was oftentimes, y'all, that somebody that was flogged would die just from the flogging. You know, I won't go into all the details.